Podcast right here. Still working on getting that official logo at the beginning of this podcast, but I'll get it when I do. I just want to make a couple announcements. I just dropped the first T-shirt design for the podcast. It's got the logo on the front and then my kitten on the back. It's pretty cool. So if anybody wants to buy any T-shirts, I just posted the link on Facebook. And with that being said, we're almost at 2K views. So keep up the good work, everybody. And yeah, without saying much else, go ahead and introduce yourself and when you went to Spring Creek, all of that.
Hi, I'm Michelle. I was in Spring Creek from 2005 to 2007, and then I was sent to Tranquility Bay for about 6 months. 2008, I went back to Spring Creek and graduated, and then went back again 3 months after I graduated.
Okay. Did you get transported, or did your parents take you up to Spring Creek initially?
My parents.
Okay. And walk us through that, like when your first day there, like what was your first thoughts when you got there? Like what did they do when you got there? Like did they have to go to Staff Central?
Yeah, it's so crazy because I just feel like I had no idea that places like that existed.
Yeah.
But my parents totally tricked me. Like you're gonna die. Things were really bad with us at home. I thought we had just like gotten to a turning point where we had like agreed on things, but I was really young. I was only 13.
Oh, wow.
Like I kind of had made them accept that I was going to continue like smoking pot, and like we had organized this curfew that I think they were just like uncomfortable with. And I also had gotten pretty much like expelled from school for smoking pot at school, which is like when you're 13, that's just like, they were really nervous about my education. Yeah. So they told me that we were going to a spa in Montana. They'd been going to these like parent support groups, and they said that we like won a spot in Montana. And I'm Canadian, so like these types of schools are not in Canada, like they're not legal.
Yeah.
And so I had literally no idea that the places like this existed. And like we were like driving up the driveway, and they both just like looked at me in the rearview mirror, and they both had tears in their eyes. And I was like in the back with my like headphones listening to like Lloyd Banks, like 2005 style, you know? And just like I took my headphones off and I'm like, this is not a spa, is it? And they were both just like, could barely even talk, just like shook their heads crying. And then I jumped out of the car and tried to run away. And then everybody grabbed me and I was on run risk. And yeah, it was wild.
Okay, so you pretty much, did they throw you right in intervention your first night?
No. I was like, after I realized kind of what was happening, and I like went into like, you know, when you do your orientation, like your inventory, or what is it called?
The first seminar? Oh, the intake? Okay.
When you're like getting intaked or whatever, I don't know how to say it.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of realized that like I was just like really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've actually never been to intervention.
Oh, okay. I'm actually surprised they didn't throw you right into intervention right after you ran. Usually they do that.
And just scared the shit, right? Like they did not.
That's good. That's unique. Okay, so you ran, and then what family did you get put in initially?
I was in Eternity.
Eternity? Okay. And so did you how long after you got there did they or first of all, did they go over rules with you or anything like that? Like was there ever like anything like explaining to you the rules, or was it kind of just like fight for yourself type thing?
I definitely feel like they told me the rules.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know. It's so hard to remember now because it was almost 20 years ago, but
yeah.
I definitely feel like they went over the rules with me. I had the same family mom for a long time, Miss Sharon. But yeah, I think that I had like 2 upper levels doing my intake, and then my buddy Brandy was doing my intake, and she was like really great too. She was just like told me everything I I know I got there on a Friday because we had pizza boats. Did you have pizza boats? Was that still a thing
Yeah,
when you went there?
I remember pizza boats. I remember
I
pizza
didn't the boats, and they were all like, "Oh, you're so lucky. You're having the best dinner tonight." And I got there, and the tomato sauce tasted so weird, and I was like, "Okay."
Yeah.
Just like
Yeah, if this is good, I don't want to know what bad is.
exactly. Oh,
Yeah.
bad things.
Okay, how long after you got there did they throw you into your first seminar? Do you remember?
I think it was about like 3 months. Like I think I had gotten there right after seminars had finished.
Okay, and for you, was it discovery and then focus, or did they have orientation still when you were there?
We had orientation.
I thought so. Yeah, I know that you were there when I was there. I'm not sure what time exactly that was. I got there.
I went there so many times. Well, when were you there? And what family were you in?
Okay, so I got there on January 23rd, 2007, and I was there 22 months. And I was in honor family.
So
and I was like, okay, I was like probably the kid that you were hearing getting restrained a bunch and getting sent to intervention. You probably heard my name over the intercom a few times.
Probably. I feel like it's so crazy now because like I obviously remember you, but it's weird because it's been so long. I don't remember you. I don't know if I actually remember you from the program or if I just remember you from having you on Facebook and social media and you know, it's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you would have gotten there, I think, while I was in Jamaica.
Yeah, I think you got right when you got back from Jamaica. I think I gave you feedback in like some upper level groups, or like I think we staffed a seminar together or something like that. I don't know.
Probably. I was in Dream.
Okay, I was in Dream Family too.
Okay, yeah. Okay, so that makes
yeah. Miss Lisa, yeah.
Miss Lisa.
Was Miss Lisa still when you went there?
Oh, Miss Lisa was when I first got there, she was an upper level.
Yeah. Oh, you were cutting out there for a second. What was that?
Oh, I just said she was an upper level, or she was a lower level family mom, and then she was a upper level rep.
Yeah, she was awesome. She
was great.
Yeah. Okay. What was your experience of your first seminar? Like, what were you thinking like after you got out of there? Like, were you like, this is crazy, or like, did you
I felt really good, honestly. Like, I feel like if I had gone to a seminar really soon after I arrived, like, you know, some people get there and then like 3 days later they're in orientation. I just feel like I would not have been able to handle that.
Yeah.
It was a really like hard transition for me. I'm from like a super safe island in Canada on the West Coast. Like, I know you're in Seattle. You obviously know about Vancouver Island. Like,
yeah.
That's literally where I'm from. Just so different, like just the states and I smoked weed and like I did kind of drugs, but like I'd never been around like meth or heroin or anything. And like, I just felt like I didn't need to be there as much as other people. And that like, you know, it was just like such a hard transition. Like I was so young. I cried all the time. Like every time I got a letter from my parents, I would be like bawling on my bed. Like it was just a hard transition. So I'm glad I had like time before the seminar to settle in and be like, I felt like I like wanted to feel better.
Yeah.
And I do feel like they helped me. And I still will say that like I don't agree with like what these programs are. And I'm sure we'll get into that later. But like I'm someone has the glass is always half full and I'll just like take everything positively. And so I definitely think that the program did good things for me and the seminars for sure did good things for me. But yeah.
Okay.
Because of me being a positive person.
Yeah. And also, you graduated, right? You said you graduated eventually from Spring Creek, right?
I did, yeah.
Okay, yeah, and that's like what I try to for people that like didn't graduate the program. Like I feel like just personally, like us that did graduate the program or were like forced to graduate, however you want to look at it. If you graduated, you were forced to see every single different aspect of what the program has to offer. Like for example, when you get on upper levels, you work admin or you work a family or like you get integrated into the different parts of the facility and like you really start to see like the little nuggets of wisdom that they did have in the program. Like, but unless you like graduated, you didn't really get to see every single angle. Maybe you saw just the negatives, or maybe you saw like, maybe there's some people that just saw it positive still, but like, you know, it's different for every person. And I feel like that's why it's important to get everybody's story for sure.
I mean, everybody has different experiences and has stuff that they want to talk about, which is what I think what you're doing is so great, is because, yeah, I was definitely like a little bit nervous. I was like, I hope he doesn't try to like sway me to speak like one way or the other.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I just listened to your episodes and I was like, that's not the vibe at all. And so, yeah, while I was doing this and they're like, oh, are you nervous? And I'm like, I'm just not nervous at all. Like, it's just a place that I can talk and tell my experiences. And yeah.
For sure. Okay, let's see. So did you work your program like right off the bat, or were you like rebellious sort of like when you first got there? Because you said you got sent to Tranquility Bay, so I'm kind of trying to work up towards like what caused that.
Oh, I was good right away. Yeah. I would say like I didn't work my ass off right away, but like I was going through the levels, and then you know how sometimes you're just, when you're there, you're doing your thing and like you don't realize if you're doing anything different, and then all of a sudden everyone's seeing you and telling you how great you're doing and you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Kind of like autopilot.
Yeah, like for me that was after Focus. Like I guess I really like stood out in Focus. I was Whitney Houston, so that's
Okay.
super emotional one, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, and after that things started to feel really good, but because I was like a little bit younger, and because I was like, there was not a lot of 13-year-olds there, definitely not.
Yeah.
As I was just like, I don't know, just like a little bit softer. And I feel like that's just because of where I'm from. Like, I'm not some like badass who's like running with gangs ever. Like,
Has a bunch of shit to prove.
yeah, like I've never
Yeah.
been. So I think I just felt like a little bit just different, you know, and not that anyone there was the same, but I know, you know what I mean.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
after Focus, I feel like was when I really, really, really started working. And then I was on the upper levels. I was on ASB. ASB was so fun.
What was ASB for people that don't know what ASB was? What did you do?
Was Associated Student Body, and we got to plan, like, we had Spirit Month, which was like such a fun month. So there was a group of us that planned that, and just like ran the pep rallies, kind of. Just honestly, I feel like we were like the hype people.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. And so, and obviously we had more freedom, and there was like boys and girls in ASB together, and you could like talk. And I just feel like that made you feel like a lot more normal.
Yeah, like normal teenager, kind of like normalized, like not completely normal, but normalized.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's like because it's like I had been there for so long. It was like I had nothing. Like there was no, my whole teenage life was spent there, and so there was no normalcy. So that place really was like my world. Like my teenage life was spent in these programs.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So you want me to get into Jamaica and how I got sent there?
Yeah. Let's go into the transition and like how that happened. Yeah.
So, oh god. So we did ASB Spirit Month, and it was so fun. I don't think you were there yet.
Yeah, probably not.
2006. Yeah, so we did ASB Spirit Month. It was so fun. And then I don't really know what happened after Spirit Month, but I think I just got a little bored maybe. And it was like all my lower level friends were like finally on the upper levels, and we just started getting scandalous. You know, that word was very popular there.
Yeah.
So we were all passing notes, and like just some wild things were happening for what was going on. Like I remember one of my friends met this other guy up in the gym, like just like really abusing our freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and I was going to PC too. So I was going to Utah, and I went to Utah, and when I got back, like I was level 1, 0 points. Everybody was like, we had just gone on this whole like, yeah, we all had boyfriends, and it was just wild. Yeah.
Somebody probably wrote an SOF party and probably got you all dropped or something.
What's crazy is that there was this SOF party was when I was gone.
Yeah, that's what I figured happened. Yeah.
So like I got back and I just had like the worst feeling because I think Mr. Cliff came with us on PC too.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know, I guess they didn't tell him what was going on until like after we landed. And we landed back in, I can't remember if we flew out of Spokane or Missoula, but like, yeah, it was a bad vibe going back. And then we got back and it was like, yeah, you're done. And so after that, I just like completely stopped caring. And I broke all the rules just to break them. And I was honestly never like that crazy. Like I wouldn't like try to hit the staff or like run away or anything. And I would like literally.
Except for that one time, except for when you first got there.
First 5 minutes there.
Yeah.
But it's not like I want to run away and live in the mountains in Montana by myself. Like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I'd rather be like warm and fed. So when that happened, like that happened mid-August or like end of August. And there would be times when I would like stop trying to be bad and like work the program, but it was like just so many things happen. Like I did like self-harm just to like do it, and like bulimia just to do it, and just like literally trying to break all the rules. I like bullied this girl really bad, and that's why I ended up getting sent to Jamaica. That was like right after Halloween. We had this whole pep rally for Halloween, and I was still like kind of passing notes with this guy, and like, yeah, it was just crazy. And then, yeah, I went to, they called me in, and I was like, oh, I know, you know that when that happens, especially if you get called like without your buddy.
Yeah.
And I just went to what was that place called where all the family reps hung out?
Was it the fucking first building that you came up on out of the driveway?
Yeah.
Fuck, it has a name. Was it Teton? No, it's not Teton. It's bro, it's not Staff Central either. Is it admin?
Oh my God, Staff Central. I have not thought of that in so long. Staff Central.
Yeah, I know the trailer.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So weird.
Yeah, I can't remember the name of that building, but yeah, I know the building you're talking about. Yeah.
So funny. Okay, so they took me in there, and I just walked in, and like I saw there was 2 transporters there, and all these people just like there to say bye to me. I'd been in the program for about like 17 or 18 months at this time. So it's just like super discouraging, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had gone from like level 5, like 4 months away from going home. Like I was gonna, if I had done it all right, I could have gotten home like right before Christmas that time.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'd leave. They didn't want to tell me where I was going. We like get to the Seattle airport, and they're like, or no, Spokane. I don't know. I forgot. They finally told me I was going there, and one of my friends that I had dropped with was already there. So I was kind of like, oh, that's crazy. And then, yeah, it was just terrifying. So terrifying. Going to Jamaica is like the most, everyone talks about how they don't want to go there. It's the worst place you could go to, blah, blah. And then I was going there. So not a good.
What was like your first day like there? Like, what was it like there? I know I've had a few people on that went there, but like, did you?
I didn't have any time to listen to any of those episodes, which I really wanted to.
Yeah. Well, you have plenty of time. You can always do it after this, but yeah, for sure. But
okay, so it was so, honestly, I was so scared going there. Like, it's just, I mean, going to Spring Creek was such an adjustment, and then even going here after Spring Creek was such an adjustment. Like, I felt like there was no warmth there. Whereas like in Spring Creek, it's like sometimes our family moms would like sing us songs before bed, and it was just like discipline in Jamaica. Like honestly, like you can't talk there. There's 1 hour on Sundays where you can talk. And like sometimes during PE. Like during hygiene time in Montana, like we could talk and hang out, you know what I mean? Like, but none of that. Like you were on silence all the time. It was like, and actually, like listening to your podcast reminded me of the whole like heel toe thing. I forgot all about that. And
yeah.
In Jamaica, like you couldn't even look away from the person in front of you's neck. Yeah, I honestly can't remember my first day. I feel like there was only 2 girls' families there. Foundations, which is the one I was in, and I can't even remember the other one's name, but I walked into the other family's name, and my friend who had gotten sent there like after our big drop just instantly like started crying when she saw me. And then I went to my own family, and like, yeah, it's just not warm there. Like, it's not like people welcomed me or there was like anything. Like, I felt like in Montana, like I was crying all the time when I first got to Montana, and like people were like comforting me and like wanting me to feel better, you know? And in Jamaica, it was just like nobody has time for that. Like, and yeah, like, oh, there was this other girl who I had seen get sent to Jamaica so long ago, and she was actually younger than me. Like, it was crazy. She got to the program when she was 12. And she was like really acting out at one point, and then so she was in my family. So I told her, I'm like, I literally remember the day that you got sent away. You were like freaking out in the back of some like black car, and she was like doing really good. She was on the upper levels, but yeah, just Jamaica was just like this insane lack of like human rights, and I just can't believe a place like that. I honestly can't believe I survived it. Like, I just like, and that was where I was survival mode. Like, there was no me like messing around anymore there. I was like, get me out of here. And all I could think about was how I wanted to go back to Spring Creek. And when I got a phone call with my parents, like, I had to wait until my family rep went away, and I was just like, please send me back. Like, I would have stayed in Jamaica for another like 2 years. Like, I chose out of a seminar there, and I had never chosen out of a seminar before. It's really weird. Like, it's like almost like even the seminars are like more disciplined.
Were they different? Like, were they different than what you remembered? Like, was the
Like, yeah, like I had to do focus again because they just thought that I needed it again. And I'd already done focus. I'd already been like level 5, you know what I mean? So
I don't feel like it would work really that good the second time either. Like, not knowing, like already knowing the shit.
yeah, like I chose out of focus. Like, I'm like, I've already done like values and like all those ones. It was just really weird. But yeah, they were a little bit different, but not really. I felt like the room at Spring Creek for the seminars was like a powerful room. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was like I don't know, the vibe in the seminar room there was like amazing. I felt where you could actually like really open up and you just felt everyone. And then in Jamaica, it was like in a basement, I'm sure, or like, I don't know, low ceilings, like just not as like freeing.
Inviting? Not as inviting either, maybe?
No, and like I think I was just in such a different place in Jamaica where I was like, I just want to keep my head down. Like, I don't even want anyone to like know who I am. Like,
Yeah.
like get in and get out, because it was like, it like really was that bad, honestly. Like, I don't know how people went there for 3 years. Like, I would, yeah, be like a shell of a human, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like,
To get me,
oh, go ahead.
oh, just the best day ever. Like, honestly, I just got married. Maybe my wedding was a better day than that, but like, it was like the biggest relief that when they came to get me. It was insane.
Okay. I've also heard from the people that I've interviewed, but that went there too. They kind of described like a hate towards Americans type thing. Did you get that kind of vibe when you were there? Like they just hated Americans type thing?
No, but I'm not American.
Yeah.
I definitely feel like it's just their way of living and their discipline, like the way they raise their kids is so different.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my family mom being like, my kids do not go out past 8 p.m. Are you kidding me? Why? What for? And it's like, I could see how people that are raised in that environment, and they're religious there too, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's a religious country. And so I just felt like, I feel like if they're raised like that, they would, Americans are like stupid. You know what I mean?
Or less than.
Or
Yeah.
less than, yeah. Like, they put themselves up because like they have this way of living that's not like yours, and they think their way is better.
Yeah.
I could 100% see that. It's also, yeah, I've traveled in the Caribbean a lot more, like, since I've been to Jamaica, and it's just very different down there. Like, my friend just lived there for 3 years as well, not Jamaica, but somewhere else in the Caribbean. And it's like the way that you get treated there is not like anything you experience in Canada or America, I don't think. Like it's the Caribbean vibe is different for sure.
Yeah. Okay. What's the craziest thing you saw or heard about at Spring Creek and Tranquility Bay?
I think like the scandals that would happen in between like staff and students at Spring
Like
Creek.
sexual or grooming or?
I remember there was like 2 incidents there when I was there that were just like wild. Like and it was I mean, I don't want to say these are the only ones that happened because I don't know,
Yeah.
but the that I know about was like a female staff and like a younger guy.
Yeah.
Like guy in the program. And like that was just crazy. Like I remember, I don't want to like say too much, obviously, or like call people anything, but yeah, one of the staff I had been working like very closely with. And I remember when I dropped and like felt like when I went back from level 5 to level 1, 0 points, like she was just like, I hope you weren't like using your freedom to like go to like break these rules, like the freedom that you had with me. And then, yeah, I found out that she like took someone's virginity while I was in Jamaica. And I was like, oh, that's fucking interesting.
Yeah.
And then I remember this other staff like tried to help these 2 boys run and like took them to her house. And like, I don't know, to me,
I heard about that. I think I heard about that.
I feel like that was more your time for sure.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting. And then in Jamaica, just the so intervention in Jamaica is OP placement. I'm sure you know about this.
Yeah.
But yeah, like just so sad. Like it was kind of like motel style there. Like I don't even think there was like doors on the walls, but it was just like it was like a building with like doors you could go in and then like a balcony, and like you could just hear people like screaming and like being restrained and like, abused. And I never went there. I was like, there's not a chance I'm doing anything to go in there. Like they would have to lie on their face all day. And they would get up for 30 minutes of fitness, which I just find so ironic. It's like you're gonna like have someone lie on their face all day and then they get up and do like jumping jacks for half an hour. Like,
yeah, what's that doing? Yeah.
It's like that makes no sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they'd come out of like OP and like their whole like face would be like broken out or like red rashes, and yeah, just so.
Was there a nurse that you knew of on campus at all? Like, was there like any ER techs or anything like that? So if people got injured, they could go there or anything like that?
I don't. I mean, I know there was obviously a doctor, but I don't know if they would help. I don't know if the staff would get a person help if they needed it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also remember it was so crazy. Like when I got to level 3, we got to go to the beach and like I had to wear a life jacket.
Really?
I'm like, I live on an island. Why am I wearing a life jacket right now?
That doesn't make sense. Dude, I feel like that could get you farther too if you were to try to run. Like it's ocean. Like, come on now.
So dumb. Like it's just like I feel like Jamaica was just like a huge like there was no grip on reality there. Like I'm like, what is like it's not normal to like not be able to look at like you couldn't look at yourself in the mirror. There was no mirrors. There was like you had to go ask for toilet paper for number 1 or number 2, like inhumane shit, you know? Like that's just how is anyone supposed to leave that and go back to real life? Like that's not setting anybody up for success.
I know, for sure. I agree. So let's talk about. So you were talking about when you. So how long did you spend there, first of all, at Tranquility Bay?
6 months.
6 months, and then when you went back, did you go back level 1, 0 points, or what? What did
No. So I made it to level 3 in Jamaica, and then I went back. I think I was level 3 all-star, maybe, or not. Maybe I was. Whatever. When I got there, I was allowed to like vote up right away, and yeah, it was really cute. Like everyone was really happy to see me back and like see because it was like only 6 months, you know, so many people that I left when I was there, like were on upper levels now. And so, yeah, actually I will always remember like my best friend who we were like really bad together before I left. Like she didn't support me when I was voting up. I think it was like she needed to like see more, you know what I mean? But it was like so cute because like she was doing something for herself and her program, and she's like, obviously I want you to be on the upper levels, but it's just like we were so bad together that we couldn't. So I think I got to upper levels right away, and then I literally fucked up and dropped. So dumb. But they still were like, you're graduating anyways, you need to graduate.
Okay. So when you, I was gonna say, by the way, I dropped several times. I actually, so I rebelled for my first year there. Just a little background on me. I rebelled for my first year there. Almost got sent to Jamaica. Actually, that's what they threatened me with. And then I was like, nah, because I'd heard so much shit about it. And I was like, I'm not doing that shit. And so, yeah, and so I dropped so many times. Like I dropped into all the lower level families. So I was originally in honor. I worked my way up, and then I dropped into respect, dropped into Genesis, dropped into Quest. So I know what it's like to like get up there and like lose all your fucking points and shit. And just like literally like when that happened to me, like I just felt like so hopeless. Like I just didn't want to work because like it's so hard, like building all those points up and getting all the support, and then everything's taken away.
Like so important. Like you get one like not following directions, 25 points gone. Then you don't get any points that day. Like that sucks.
Yeah, when you already have nothing, it's fucking hard to like feel motivated to do anything. So I just wanted to say that I could relate to that for sure. Let's see. So they're about to drop you, and then they had you graduate anyway. So you went through Trail of Lights then? You did that whole thing?
I did. It was actually on my, I'm pretty sure my 16th birthday. Yeah, my 16th birthday.
That's crazy.
So I run.
What do you remember about Trail of Lights?
Guy that I'm note passing with my whole like, thing is so funny. But yeah, it was great. Honestly, Trail of Lights was great, and everything like that. Yeah, that whole week of graduation was pretty cool.
What did they have you do for your Trail of Lights? Did they have you blindfolded and all that?
Blindfold, hike up a mountain, hike down a mountain. Then we got like letters from our parents at the end of the night, right?
Yeah. Weren't for us, they were like as if we had died. Like they had our parents write letters as if we died or something like that. Something along the lines. Was it like that for you?
Okay. I don't know. I'd have to look back.
Yeah.
I feel like my Trail of Lights was not the last time that I saw the program, so I feel like
you came back. You came back too, huh?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So you graduated. What was your song for Trail of Lights?
I'm a Disney freak, so I love Disney. I literally have a Hakuna Matata tattoo, and my song was one of the Phil Collins songs from Tarzan.
That's awesome.
You'll Be in My Heart.
Oh, hell yeah.
What was yours?
Mine was Vitamin C, that song, the graduation song.
Graduation, love.
As we go on, we remember. Yeah. I did that one. That one, bro, it had so many people crying. Man, it was great.
That was part of the ceremony.
What's up?
Just the whole getting passed over everyone was a cool part of the ceremony for sure.
Yeah, it's so like powerful. It's just hella powerful. And then how they have people come up to you afterwards with the blindfold on and tell you what they named you and everything.
Yeah.
It's great.
So cute.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You do anything like that at Tranquility Bay?
They don't do anything like that for graduation or anything?
I think you just go to PC3.
Oh, I can't. I don't doubt it. It sounds like a lot cooler or a colder of a place.
Yeah, I think. Just like don't care if you haven't like spoken a word in like a week. It's like not normal.
Yeah, it's not normal. You need some interaction with people. You need interaction with people, and you need interaction with yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
Like you can't. So you graduated, and then what happened when you got home to get sent back? Like, did they have you do a life contract and all of that?
Yeah, and I did it for a while, but honestly, I just after being in a place for so long, it was over 2 years. that I was gone for. So I went in when I was 13 and I got out like right after I turned 16.
Yeah.
And that's just like, I just could not follow rules. I didn't want to follow any rules anymore. And like, I know it's normal for a 16-year-old to like follow their parents' rules and like live under their house, but I just like didn't want to. And I just wanted to party and like keep up with lost time. Got a little bit into cocaine. Had like a really bad day and night on cocaine, like bender.
Yeah.
And was in a bad situation and just like took a cab home and honestly asked my mom to go back. I think it was like my safe place, especially after return. Like it was like really weird to want back. So
Sorry, you just cut out. You just cut out a little bit. It was
sorry.
so weird. You said you were saying it was so weird.
Yeah, just like I wanted to be at Spring Creek. Like I felt like it was like my safe place.
Yeah.
Because after like going back after Tranquility Bay, like I felt like they took care of me and it was like that's all I wanted when I was there for like 6 months. You know, it was just like I just have to get out of this environment. This environment is not me. Like I'm not thriving. Like I'm not gonna thrive here. I knew that I wasn't gonna thrive there. And then I just felt like I could thrive at Spring Creek. Like I literally pretty much felt like I grew up there. It was 13, 14, 15. Like those are like, I don't know, important years, like memorable years.
Crucial.
You're like coming into your own like teenage self. And yeah, I just felt safe there. I felt like I had like messed up too badly at home. Sorry, am I allowed to swear or like what is
Yeah,
that?
you're allowed to swear at all. Yeah, yeah.
I just have a bit of a potty mouth. Yeah, I just felt like I had just fucked up so badly at home that I just wanted to be somewhere where I felt safe and where I couldn't fuck up that badly.
Yeah.
You know, like
So,
I was
so you were almost. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, you go. I don't even know what I was saying.
Okay. Um. So you graduated, went home, and then you got into a like a negative situation, right? And then you were like, I want to go back because I
Yeah.
feel safer at Spring Creek. Okay, I just wanted to clarify that that was what you said. I can definitely relate to that for sure. I mean, I've actually at several points in my life, and I know some people are gonna be like, I can't believe you said that, but like at a few points in my life, like I've been like, man, I kind of wish I could be back in the program just because everything's like so structured, and you like there's certain shit you don't have to worry about in the program. Like you don't have to worry about like getting your heart broken because you don't talk to girls. You don't have
Yeah.
to worry about like you don't have to worry about paying bills because you fucking have your roof over your head. You don't have to worry about all this shit. Like so there have been times in my life when I've been like, damn, I kind of wish I was back in like a a super like structured environment like that where like I know what people's intentions are because they voice that shit. You know what I mean? I know what people really feel because they get real instead of like in the real world, like they'll put up this facade and they'll be like, this is who I want. I think, who I want you to think I am. Right. But I'm really this person different underneath. And it's, so I definitely relate to that for sure. Did you, when you went back, did you start on level 1, 0 points, or what did they do?
No. I don't feel like anyone started level 1 0 points when I went there. I think it was always level 2 250 points,
Okay.
right?
Okay. Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right.
So I think I must have started back there, but I also think they didn't like want me on a points and level system because they were like, you've already done this, like these mean nothing to you. I think.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Did you?
think maybe they started me because when I went back, Miss Lisa was my family rep right away from the beginning. She was like the upper level rep. They were like, we're putting you in upper level group. We're not putting you in lower level group again.
Yeah.
Like, you know, so it definitely was like a special case, but of course it was a special case. Like I'd already been in the program for 27, 28 months. Like
Yeah, yeah.
did something different than other people that were there for so long. So I don't think you know this part of the story, but eventually I was only back at Spring Creek for like 2 months and I went to go live with my therapist from Spring Creek
Okay.
and his family on his farm. And I went to school in Knoxon public school.
Okay.
So that is another interesting, unique part of my story.
Okay. Did you feel like that was like more of just like them trying to help you, or like did you ever feel like there was like a hidden motive behind that, or do you feel like it was genuine for them to like
Well,
do?
nobody from the program wanted me to do that. That was like kind of my mom. So my therapist was like the best therapist there. And while I was in Jamaica, he left Spring Creek.
Okay.
I think there was a bit of bad blood there. I can't fully speak on it because I don't fully know all the answers, but
Yeah.
I think there was, I don't know if you've heard about that or anything, but yeah, I think there was just some bad blood there. So like they didn't want me, and like Miss Lee, they were like not really supportive of it. But my parents and I were like, but they were like, I don't think that this is like the right call for you right now, being in the program for another however long.
Yeah.
So we kind of made that decision separately, my parents. And I wanted to, like I said to you, I wanted to be in a safe place. I felt like
Yeah.
I had been, not the smartest, not the best version of myself when I went home. And who knows if Spring Creek would have helped me get to a better place or not, or like living with this therapist and like having a completely different experience. Like literally going to public school in Knoxon was a fucking wild ride for sure.
For sure. Okay, let's get into like reintegrating into society afterwards. Like how was it for you like reintegrating into society, like making friends, like relationships, anything like that was difficult for you? Because I know like for me, like relating to people, starting conversations, like where do I start type shit when I got out was really hard. I felt like nobody would even understand what I just went through, even if, I did tell them, like, because they weren't there. So it was really hard for me to relate to people. How was it for you?
Well, I'd say my first interaction being at Knoxon was really hard, obviously, because everyone knows what Spring Creek is there and they know who we are. So even some of the teachers were like judgmental. And it was a very small school. So 16 kids. I was in grade 11th grade, as you guys say. But I was in 11th grade, and it was like 16 kids that had been together their whole upbringing,
Yeah.
Another program, Clearview or Clearwater, I think. Clearview. And
So,
they had girls that went to Knoxon High as well. So my therapist had told me, like, I don't want you hanging out with them. Like, I want you making friends. But it's like, obviously, that's who I hung out with. Like,
yeah.
who else? All these people have been friends since literally kindergarten, and there's 16 of them. Like, they're not welcoming me with open arms,
Mm-hmm.
And so I hung out with these girls because we related. We're both not living with our parents. We're both in a hick town school, like
Mm-hmm.
not our normal stuff. And so I feel like that being my first integration honestly made it a lot easier when I got home.
Okay.
Because I had already been in this situation in a safe space where like these people weren't super accepting of me, and like I just had nothing in common with these people, honestly, Jordan. Yeah. I'm literally a West Coast chill. I'm chill. Like I don't want to be there in social studies class. Hold on. Sorry.
No, you're good.
You there? My bad. Because my bunny is getting neutered tomorrow. Anyways. I felt like just in social studies class there, I would just be like, how are we having these conversations about like homophobia and like all these talks that I'm like, I am just like this West Coast girl, like that just believes in love and believes in like everybody is equal. And like, I'm literally, and those classes were where I just felt like the most separate from these people.
Like disconnect.
And I'm like, and honestly, like I'm literally 16 years old. I've already lived in 3 different countries. I haven't been living with my parents for 3 years. Like I just have more life experience than these people. And I'm like, I cannot take you guys seriously. Like you've never even been on a plane. Like you've never seen anything outside of this town. And yet you think that you like know how this world should be run. Like I felt so like isolated. I was like, oh my God, I have nothing in common with you guys. Like we don't see eye to eye at all. And yeah, so I felt like going home was really good. And honestly, like I had a really good group of friends when I got home. That helps me. And they're honestly still my best friends. And it was that I still was in that phase when I went home of like, I just want to like live a normal teenage life. And this time I actually did live a normal teenage life. But yeah, it's definitely hard, like, especially when you start to tell your story and then people are so confused and asking you a million questions and asking you questions like of things where you don't really want to go to. Like everyone asking me about like, how could I forgive my parents? Like, how could they do that to me, blah blah blah. I'm like, I'm not going there with you. Like you're a stranger. Like my parents' relationship and mine is great, and like that's all I want. And it's just as scary and terrifying for them as it is for us.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you, so you're on good terms with your parents then? And like you don't hold anything against them for sending you there?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
And
Okay.
honestly, it didn't even take me that long to get there. What about you?
I mean, yeah, I've definitely forgiven my parents. I'm never gonna forget it, but I've forgiven them. For my dad, it's kind of a mixed situation. My dad has, I don't really like to call it what it is because I don't want, if he hears this, I don't want him to get like insulted or anything. And he never should take this as an insult, but he has mind issues. He's getting to that age where he has mind issues. And there's the one question he asks me every time I come over there is, what was your experience at Spring Creek? Do you feel like it helped you, or do you feel like it damaged you? And like, I feel like it did damage me, but at the same time, I feel like I learned a lot of shit. But I'm not gonna tell my dad, who has that those kind of issues going on, that yeah, it really was hurtful at times, but I got a lot out of it. I'm gonna tell him, like, yeah, I did get a lot out of it, because really I did get a lot out of it. But I'm gonna leave out, like the more detrimental stuff, because I don't want him to have that stress. You know what I mean? He doesn't need to deal with that. But like overall, I have forgiven my parents for sure. I mean, and if I had to go through it again, I definitely would, because it's made me the person I am.
Exactly. That's just all I say when people talk to me about it is I'm like, I would not be this person like that I am if it wasn't for it. Like I'm sure you felt this too when you were younger, like just that you were so much more like emotionally ahead of the people your own age, like especially like
Mm-hmm.
how when you got out.
I was about to turn 18.
Okay, yeah. So like 18, I'd say like 18 to 22, 23, I just felt like I had like this knowledge that people around me didn't have. I don't know. But
Yeah, definitely.
like this self-confidence, like I don't know, like I don't know if I'm a confident person. I am a very confident person. I don't know if that's because of the program, because I just learned exactly who I was. And like we're talking about the seminars, like they did help me. They did help me understand like why I didn't like myself and like self-limiting beliefs. Like I understand those completely now, and I know, and I can like recognize my self-limiting beliefs. Like that's not where I want to go. This is where I want to go. Like talk yourself up. Like, and I'm good at that kind of stuff. And like I'm raising kids too, you know what I mean? Like I am we talk a lot. Like my kids are little. They're not obviously going to hear about my program world, but we talk a lot about emotions, and like I try to create like a really safe space for them. And like I'm like super understanding, like if you're feeling this way, this is how you're going to act type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I'm super grateful to the seminars for that, for sure. I feel like I recognize so many more things within myself because of them.
For sure.
But yeah, definitely. Sorry, I got so off topic there, but I definitely have a great relationship with my parents, and I would never hold any blame on them. And you know what? The last time my mom and I talked about this, so I have a little brother, and he's 5 years younger than me.
Okay.
So he was 8 when I got sent away. And my mom had said something to me like, yeah, we had to just do it to put your little brother's mind at ease. Because there would be nights when I was like 13 where I like wouldn't come home, or like blah, 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 blah. And like my little brother is like anxiety ridden at 8 because of my actions. And like when my mom said that to me, it clicked for me. I was like, it's not just about me, it's about him too. Like they wanted him to like have a nice upbringing where he's not like stressed about what I'm doing this whole time. And like, I was just so selfish back then. Like, I didn't care. Like, I didn't care about how my actions were affecting my family at all. And like, this is like where I can get emotional talking about it, is because it's just so sad for my parents to have to make that decision. Like, not that they're choosing between us, but they're like, she's ruining like her brother's life. So we have to take care of him too, because they're both our responsibility.
Well, yeah, and you were probably a role model to him, and you probably still are. You know what I mean? It probably never changed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, but definitely, I agree with that. And my dad also says that one of the things he also says is the moment he dropped me off at that place was one of the hardest moments of his life. Saying goodbye to me was literally like, he'll look at me dead in the eye and he'd be like, saying goodbye to you, like I didn't want to do that. I really didn't want to do that. Like, it was hard as fuck for my parents to do that. Like, and that's like, you know, if you got transported, it might be, you know, that might be another story. But like, when you get taken there by your parents, chances are, and you know, everybody's different, but chances are that was really hard for your parents to let you go and to make that decision.
Of course. And I think about it and I'm like, oh my God, would I want to get my kid transported? Or like, would I be able to like have the strength? Like, I would never send my kids away.
Yeah.
But it's like thinking about the battle that your parents had with that, you know, like, is it better to see them like go off with someone like they don't know if they're safe or anything like that? Or is it better to take them and like, I just don't know if I could ever be strong enough to just say goodbye to my kids like that.
Yeah.
So scary.
I would definitely give in and give them another chance and just keep on. I don't know. Like,
100%.
like,
And I think parents would do that. Like, you see like an intake and then the parents.
I would just use it like, yeah, like a scare tactic almost. You know, I heard that happened with some kids, is that some kids would go up there, do the intake, and then they get taken back home or spend a week there or something. That's what I had always hoped would happen to me when I was there. But now that I've been through it, what's up?
I thought my parents were gonna pull me at some point, but they never did.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's see here. Is there anything else about your story that you want people to know? Or just people that are thinking about sending their kids to these places? Like, what would you have to tell them?
Oh my God. Well, I don't agree with these places. Even though I had a good experience, like, that's just who I am. Is I'm positive, I'm like always gonna take everything that happened to me and has happened to me and be grateful for it, because it's turned me into who I am. I also feel like, but yeah, I don't agree with these places. Like, I think that, I don't know, maybe I'm just Canadian, but I just don't think you should keep kids against their will. Like, and I do, for me, this place didn't do more harm than good, but like, obviously being on social media now and like being able to stay connected to everybody like that is like, it's just crazy to see what people say still about it. Like, I feel like I have just like let that place go. Like, it's a part of me. It always will be, but like, I am not sitting here angry about anything that happened to me in any of these places. Like, that's just not, I can't hold on to that. Like, there's too much important stuff going on in my life. Like, I feel like, so yeah, I got out when I was like 17 and did the whole, like, I talked about it a lot, like in my early 20s. And then I had my son Hudson. And after I had him, it was like, I never really thought about it anymore. I never really talked about it anymore. It was just like, I'm a parent now, like, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like very interesting because I think it was 2 years ago, must have been 2020, I think, when Paris Hilton's documentary came out. Do you remember Did you watch it?
Yeah.
Or you did? So anyways, it was so crazy because I was with my husband's one of my husband's cousins, and I just started like telling her about my story about going to these places, and I hadn't talked about it in so long, Jordan. Like, and by this point I have 2 kids. Like, it's just like, it was like completely on the back burner for the time that I was becoming a mom. And then, yeah, I just started telling her about it. And then it was crazy. It was like 2 weeks later, Paris Hilton's documentary came out. And I was like, whoa, this is so weird. This is like manifestation stuff. Like, the world is like telling me to like deal with this and talk about it. And like, I just never thought that sharing my story could help anyone. But when Paris Hilton shared her story, like, it really helped me.
Yeah.
Then I got to this point of like, maybe if I share my story, it can make a difference. And so I like wrote on social media. It might have just been Instagram, might have been Facebook, but I shared like my whole story and just was like, if anybody wants to talk to me about this, like, I'm so open. It's just very interesting, like, being from Canada, where it's like there's no awareness about these things. Like, it's just, people know that like places exist, obviously, rehabs and whatnot, but, and this is what I got from Paris Hilton's documentary, is this whole like troubled teen industry in the States.
Mm-hmm.
That, it's like, I don't agree with like people making billions of dollars off of these parents that feel so lost, that don't know what to do with their kids. And these kids are mistreated. And it is like, and it's like, I definitely think these places do more harm than good. Not my experience, but
Yeah.
I like know, like, it's like, there's this one girl on my Facebook, and like, she's been missing for years, and like, she's been homeless. She's been like in and out of the like Spokane world. And it's like, I think Seattle, actually, Tacoma. And like, I just like, I get so emotional, like, reading about her, and like her, like, people posting on her wall, like, asking her to come home. And like, I just see like these damaged people on my Facebook that are like posting about like their custody battles and stuff. And I'm like, you're just not okay. And I can like see that and feel it through Facebook.
Yeah.
Just, yeah. And it's just like, I know that I'm one of the lucky ones. Like, I know that I'm lucky. I know that like my outlook on this is very lucky too. Like,
Yeah.
the fact that I am like strong throughout this whole thing, and like have made it into a positive thing.
For sure.
But
No,
I don't agree with them. That's for sure.
for sure. Knowing what you know now, is it your opinion that these places could or even should or should or even or wait, dang it? Okay, is it your opinion that these places should or even could be regulated at this point, or is it your opinion that they should all be shut down? And we've already kind of talked about this, but like, what's your definite position on it?
I mean, they will never get shut down. Not all of them. Like, that would just never happen. But I think that like, if they put their time and their money into finding better solutions, obviously I think that they should get shut down. But I just think it's like, in the United States, like, it's a billions of dollar a year industry, like, and it's probably run by the like, I mean, I only know who Spring Creek was run by, but it's like, yeah, they're not really concerned about the kids. Like, that's not what their concern is. And like, it is true. And it's just, it's too far gone now to ever go back, I think.
Yeah. Well, my opinion is that the people that have investment in the people at the way top have so much money at this point that I feel like they just buy off the court or anything like that, you know, and just, you know, win whatever court battles they need to. And, oh, there's nothing going on here. Don't look over here, you know, like, so I don't know if it even can be, but I'm going to do whatever I can, you know, and I think education is the best way. You gotta educate people. And also,
any like WASP programs still open, or is it just kind of programs all over the States?
Oh no, there's definitely WASP programs still open. I know that I'm not sure if Agape is part of WASP or if it's part of the sister program or the sister company that owns conglomerate or whatever that owns all these other schools. I think what they did is they rebranded from WASP to another acronym.
Oh yeah,
I think that's what they do is they rebrand and then they say, oh no, it's not WASP anymore. Just gaslight them with that, you know. That's what I see them doing a lot of nowadays. So I know that Agape is still open. They're abusing like boys over there under the guise of Christianity, supposedly. And
see
there's a couple.
The religious ones are like a very scary place, I think.
Oh yeah.
Like my friend told me, she's like, I looked at some in Utah for you, and I just like, I did not feel good about any of those places. And like, even like, you know, you went to Cross Creek for PC2, like, bad vibes, really bad vibes.
Yeah, the whole place was fenced off. It just didn't give a whole like
creepy shit.
Yeah, just like a gated complex. It was fucking creepy.
It's too like that religion is involved, like, gives me shivers thinking about how creepy it is. Like,
Well, yeah, I have my own opinion on whether like religion in general, but I'm not really. I don't. That's like two things I don't really want to go into on the podcast is politics and religion, because like then you get viewers that are like, oh no, you're a Satanist, or just because you don't believe in religion and all that. And it's like, no, I just don't believe. I'm spiritual. I'm not religious. You know, like there's a difference. You know what I mean? So I just feel. I personally don't feel like religion pushed on children is healthy. I personally don't feel that.
I don't think so either. I don't, yeah, especially not when you're not like around your parents and like, yeah, I just don't like that.
Yeah, I feel like they should learn it themselves, you know? And if like you, when they're a teenager or whatever, they still want to follow that, that's fine. But to push it on them, I just don't agree with as a kid. Because that's when they're developing their belief systems, their all of that, so.
I think like education on religion is a good thing.
Okay.
It's like, give them options, teach them about it. But yeah, that's pretty much the extent.
Yeah.
And I have not taught my kids anything about religion. So I don't know.
For sure. Let me see, what else was there? Okay, yeah, I think that's about it. If you ever want to do a part 2, let me know. Because I know that a lot of people usually like, oh, I should have talked about this, or I forgot about this. So if there's ever a part 2 you want to do, let me know and we'll get it done. But.
And I'll listen to some of the other ones that I really wanted to say. And yeah, but like, how are you doing though? Tell me about yourself. I watched a Q&A, so you're like a year sober. Congratulations. Yep,
I just smoke weed. I'm on methadone, but I'm working to get off methadone. It's a whole battle, but I'm getting to the point where methadone's just like, it's just another crutch. It's just another ball and chain. So it's just like, I don't really want to be on it anymore. But overall, yeah, I am sober. I've not done hard drugs in over a year. And I believe it's about harm reduction. And I believe that, you know, I consider what I'm doing right now sober. That's sober for me. It's harm reduction.
You know what? Sober.
Well, okay, you were cutting out. What was that?
I was just saying, like, I feel like being sober is an individual thing, and if you're sober from what you want to be sober from, then good for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like sobriety has a different definition for everybody, but for me, this is what works for me, and it's a lot better than slamming needles in my arm. So, you know.
And it helps so many people with so many things. Like, I'm literally a BC girl. You don't have to tell me that like smoking weed is not being sober, because
For sure. Yeah, but I'm doing pretty good. I just got approved 2 days ago for housing and essential needs, so my housing will be paid for as soon as they start accepting new clients. So I have the funding, but I can't have access to it until they accept new clients. So I'm kind of like in a catch-22 right now. But I'm figuring out my housing. I'm living by myself for the first time in my life, pretty much. Like actually have my own place. Which is good. I mean, I was living with my dad before, and I love my dad with everything he's going through right now, but I feel like being around him all the time might not be that healthy for my mental state, just because I'm there once a week. I feel like that's kind of like enough, just because I don't want to be depressed, and I just don't want to lose my dad. Like when I lose my dad, it's going to be really hard. And so I'm just trying to like stabilize myself as much as I can in my life. And I decided once I got sober, I was literally in a group. I had this idea about this podcast like months ago. And then there was this woman that posted literally the same idea in this group one day. And I was like, no fucking way. I'm going to jump on this today and start it today, because she's about to steal my idea.
Was that in the Spring Creek group?
It was in just one of the WASP groups, like the W.W.A.S.P survivors or something. So it was like an umbrella statement. But yeah, so she was like, I'm going to start something like this. And I was like, no, you're not. I'm going to start it. And so I started this podcast, and it's been super rewarding. Like, just because like just hearing like just one person say, because of your podcast, I've reached out. Now I talk to this one person that I have been trying to reach for years, or like because of your podcast, like I feel like I'm not so alone. Like it almost goes back to like when I was staffing the seminars. Like I know a lot of people had negative experiences with that, but for me, when I got on the upper levels and stuff, like I saw that as an opportunity to not abuse my power and to coach people that were being bullied, or like coach, like help people. Like, for example, like I would call out consequences, but I wouldn't write them down at the end of the day. So I'd call them out to be noticed, because I knew that that's what you had to do to progress in the program, but I'd only write down like half of the consequences. Like, obviously, if somebody was fucking with me and getting on a personal level and like actually trying to disrespect me, then you're going to get consequence. But like, if you're just trying to do your own thing and like, I'm going to show up for the staff and whatnot, but I'm not going to write down the consequences. And for the seminars, when everybody else was running around yelling like, oh, you slut, whatever, like, I was yelling, hey, just work it out, get through this, you're almost through it, like, keep it up, like, just, trying to motivate, you know what I mean? And so, like, I just want to be there for people, and I want to provide this platform for people because I feel like it's important. There's so many people that haven't even talked about this at all still, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. I think it is important. And like, I was talking to a friend yesterday, and they said, even if your story like helps one person, like it's so worth it. I'm like, it is. And like, I just thank you for offering for me to come on here, because yeah, I really feel like after watching Paris Hilton's documentary, like I felt a big shift, in this whole movement. And I'm whatever 30 now, like it's like it's way in my past, but I don't want to forget it, and it is who I am. So it's a big part of who I am, for sure.
For sure. I have one more question for you. What did you think of the lifeboat process during Focus?
The lifeboat process?
Yeah.
I mean, I got right up there. I was right away. So I don't know. I thought it was good. I mean, I didn't, yeah. I think that is what kind of made me stand out in my focus group. And I thought it was definitely interesting and weird. I thought all those friggin' processes were weird, honestly. Like, I'm like, but I mean, I'm sure they all helped me in some way.
Yeah.
I don't know. What did you think of it?
Honestly, like, the lifeboat process kind of broke me for this reason. Like, I picked myself right to live, but then when I got up there, and you know how they have like 3 minutes or whatever to say why you should, I got like 10, 15 seconds in, and I was like, I couldn't say anymore. Like, I literally like felt that shitty about myself, that I wanted to be picked, but I couldn't back up the reasons why. So like ever since then, like, but that pointed out to me that like I have such low worth, and that pointed out to me that I needed to work on that, and like work on like why I feel like I'm not worthy of that shit. Because like I should be able to go for like more than 3 minutes, like I'm an awesome person, you know what I mean? So I should be able to, kill it for more than 3 minutes. So that was kind of devastating, but at the same time, it gave me something to look at. So like, I kind of see, like the way you look at it, like see the glass half full, like that's a good way to look at things. Also eat the grapes, spit out the seeds. Like, there's always, just got to get the pieces of knowledge.
All the processes were just like meant to like break you, but also build you up,
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you probably felt like after that, I need to think of like more reasons why I'm worth it. And like, I need to just like focus on self-love and like all that. And that's building you up in a way, but none of it was easy. That's for sure.
For sure. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story. It was awesome. I appreciate it. You have a good one. Peace out, guys.
Hi, Jordan.
If you ever want to